Hello, everybody. We are those guys you hate.
Welcome to the show that encourages you to be your best self by not being like us.
My brother and I hopelessly search for nuance as we wade through wacky segments and crazy conversations.
If you can withstand the insanity, you might actually learn something.
Tyler, what are you going to be discussing on this week's episode?
Ryan, on this week's episode, we're going to find out how close is too close when it comes to familial bonds. And no, we're not using Alabama as the example. And ruining childhood memories one documentary at a time. What about you, Ryan?
Tyler, on this week's episode, I'm going to ask you, when does a remix go too far? And find out how one of the most popular rappers on the planet deals with mental health on this week's episode.
Would you rather do drugs with your mom or your dad? And depending on the drug, does it matter which is which?
That's a great question because I had an answer very quickly. I don't know that I want to roll with mom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would just be, I don't want to blow you up. I don't want to blow,
You'd rather blow dad up?
Yeah, I think
Really?
so. I'll blow vapor rub right in his eyes. I don't give a shit. Yeah, I don't know that I would want to do, I don't want to do drugs with either of them.
Yeah, but you got to pick one.
I think, generally speaking, I would err on the side of mom, but certain ones I would go dad. I would rather eat rolls with dad. Weird place to start the show, but here we are.
I was going to say, I'd rather do uppers with dad, but downers with mom.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Who are you smoking weed with? And by the way, kids, don't do drugs.
Yeah, with your parents.
With our parents either.
Yeah,
none
yeah,
of the
please,
parents.
please.
Who would you rather smoke
But
weed
be
with?
chaperoned if you're going to, okay? It's
Have
very
your parents
important.
there, but don't let them indulge. Who are you smoking weed with?
Smoking weed, I would go with mom. I would go with mom.
Just a heads up, because our mom was sick for a little while. She had to take some maybe I'm saying things that I shouldn't be saying.
Okay, medicinal herbs.
Right. And boy, oh boy, did she freak out.
Well,
so there would be some of that in there.
But you got to add the context that she made the mistake of she didn't think it was going to do anything to her, so she ate an entire one.
Rookie mistake.
Which is a rookie mistake, which she is a rookie.
PSA for your ASS,
Yes.
wait about 2 hours before you eat some more edibles.
Yeah. That's smart. Now, who would you rather eat acid with?
I would rather kill myself. I would rather... I mean, I'm going to go dad there.
I'm going to go dad too.
Because I feel like he'd be able to control himself better.
He's more chill in those situations.
And I could probably get him to kill me because I would hate that. I would absolutely hate that.
Okay.
Who are you eating acid with, Dad?
Definitely dad.
Why is that?
Because he would be more calm in that situation. Mama Menendez would flip the fuck out.
Golly, this is...
Yeah.
I hate the way that we have started this show. Who are you doing meth with?
Definitely mom. Yeah, definitely mom. I would
Definitely?
Yeah, because she's more excitable. She's already up there, so she knows how to handle herself on those high tips.
You just exploded her heart, by the way.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't survive the ordeal.
No.
But before those 30 minutes are up, we'd have a blast.
I'm thinking day 4, she just keels over. This is terrible. Are we missing any other majors?
Let's see. I don't
want to get down to like, who are you popping oxys with, you know?
either or.
Yeah.
We'd both be in a state of just non-movement.
Are we missing any other major drugs there?
I think those are all the big ones, if I'm not mistaken.
All
Yeah.
right, so mom and dad, clear your calendar for the next couple weekends. Weekend review. We're going to kill you.
And see, we love you equally. We didn't choose one or the other. We said we'd split you.
Well, we're avoiding the worst parts of both of them. That's what's happening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, how do you plan your schedule?
This is the worst vacation ever.
Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen, where we do not do drugs with our parents. We do not.
No, we don't.
We don't.
Like I said, I've seen mom on edibles that one time, and it's just soured me through the whole quick story where she ate it, and she was doing it to feel better. It's obviously was prescribed by a doctor. She's never imbibed any sort of drug outside of caffeine in her life or a little alcohol.
Ever. Never even drank soda.
Which is weird.
Very
Do
weird.
not trust that.
Yeah.
And so she eats it. I come home and she is, wearing her head wrap. I'm painting a picture here because she's going through chemo and she's on the couch. She has a blanket pulled up to underneath her nose. And I walk in and I'm taken aback, and she goes, she explains the situation to me, and she goes, Ryan? And I said, yes. And she goes, how long is this gonna last for? And I'm like, Mom, I know she's not gonna die.
Yeah.
And I say, Mom, I hate to tell you this, but this is gonna go on for a couple hours.
And how long had she had been before she ate it?
She had been hit for about 45 minutes. I said, Mom, you got a bit of a ride. Everything's fine. You're gonna be alive. I go upstairs. I was living with her at the time while she was sick. I go to the loft just to look at her. This is about 4 minutes later, and she goes, Ryan? And I say, yes. And she goes, how long is this going to last? And I say, exactly what I said, minus 6 minutes. Okay, I give the steering wheel back to you, but that's our beautiful mother. We don't want to do drugs with her.
And that's why we don't want to do drugs
That's
with
why.
her.
You're a downer, baby.
Yep. And Dad's always doing that insulin. It's ridiculous. He's a junkie.
I don't know if we're admitting this just straight up front, but he's been addicted to that shit for a like twice a day.
We care about you, man. You got to get out of this rut that you're in.
Yeah. One day, you know what? A step at a time. We'll just start feeding him a brownie every day.
Hey, that is my brother Ryan.
Hi-yo.
Again, does not do drugs with his parents, except that one time that Mom ate pot.
Ruined everything.
Cookie.
Sure.
Welcome to the show. We have got so much for you. We've got a loaded potato
This is, as they say in Mexico, a loaded patata.
It is a loaded potato. Let's just jump right into the show, Ryan. We're going to jump right into Depression Index.
No one cares.
What the Depression Index is a machine that we built with our bare hands, and we crank it up to let you know how down we are and whether you should listen to the show this week or not.
Sure.
Ryan, how are you feeling this week?
Tyler, this week I changed my whole schedule. I'm in yoga teacher training. Have I mentioned that?
Just once or twice.
Okay. And you know what? It's a scary thing to change your life. It's scary to mix around your schedule. I know most people aren't as reliant on their schedules as I am, but to go from what I'm doing, what I've done for years and years and years to now doing this thing 5 days a week, it has completely thrown me off. And I am embracing it wholeheartedly. I feel a shift. I'm doing these little things, and maybe it'll fizzle out after a week, but I feel like I am in the place that I'm supposed to be right now with the people that I'm supposed to be in it with, and I'm really enjoying myself. Before I give you my number, what I will ask you is, obviously me changing my schedule like this changes a lot of things for the people that I spend time with. It's almost like I had to deliver bad news to these people. How are you with delivering bad news?
I have gotten so much better.
I wish you would chill with that, by the way.
I have gotten so much better. It used to be something, I still obviously don't enjoy doing it, but it's something that I've really made it a point to tell myself, because it is a fact that to wait and to not do it the moment it comes up not only doesn't save you anything, it adds anxiety to your life, and it makes it, when you finally do tell them, so much worse.
It exacerbates
so much worse
every issue, you know?
Yeah, so I asked myself, why am I doing this to myself? And it's just that procrastination that I have, and there's still so many facets of my life where that comes into play, but that one, I'd rather just rip the Band-Aid off, get it over with, and that way I don't have to deal with that anxiety.
And that desire not to tell somebody something they don't want to hear. You know those jokes that you'll like tell somebody something and they get really freaked out, and then you're like, I'm just kidding. It's really blah, blah, blah. I hate doing that. I hate making people feel like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the verbal equivalent of a fake lottery ticket.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean?
I don't like bringing people to extremes of emotion when I don't have to, much less for a joke. Unless it's a positive emotion, like laughter.
And what you're saying is so right, where you put these things off. My schedule changed. A lot of people in my life, that changed my situation with them, and I put it off to the very last moment, to where at the very end they're like, you're starting tomorrow? Why are you telling me this right now? Did you just find this out?
Yep.
And I just lied directly to him. No, it's on me. I need to start doing a better job of just being honest with people. And if you and I have a connection, if you and I have a relationship, you want what's best for me. As long as that's the way that I'm making my decisions, then the people who really care about me will be there for me. So,
and we also know that when we keep this information from others, we're not protecting them. We're trying to save ourselves.
Flatly disagree.
Discomfort.
Flatly disagree.
It was altruistic. It was all altruistic.
Brother Teresa over here. It hurts me to hurt you. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So this week, I'm feeling great. I do feel this change in myself. I'm doing these little things that I've been meaning to do for a long time. I woke up today and meditated. I've been doing all these little things. My meditation has been on. My eating has been on. I'm on a roll right now that I just don't want to mess up, and it feels great. It feels great. So
that's great.
I appreciate you very much, Tyler.
Awesome.
So this week I am at a 2, baby. 1, 2.
Okay. Mr. Enlightened.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that sound right there. That sound right there definitely shows your support. And I will definitely never need therapy from this. So you're my best friend.
You're my brother. Now you ask me how I'm doing.
I'm still reeling from the and speaking of best friends, Tyler and I talk about that on this week's pregame, which is 30 seconds after the end of the show where Tyler and I warm up. Tyler, how are you feeling this week, bro?
I'm doing okay, Ryan.
I'll take that.
I'm doing okay.
Why just okay?
I find myself in the middle of this tug of war where I'm going to the gym and I'm very happy and I get my responsibilities done during the day. And then I go drinking at night because something turns in the middle of the day and I can't handle the pressure.
Now, does something turn in the middle of the day? Are you feeling good? First of all, you ever thought about drinking at the gym? Number 1.
Ooh.
Number 2, does something turn in the middle of the day? Do you feel different in the morning than you do in the evening?
Yes, it's a careening feeling where when I wake up, I'm like, yes,
you're pumped.
I can do everything.
Yeah.
And then I make just one subtle, I don't want to call it a bad decision, but an unhealthy decision in my life, whether it be about what I eat, or maybe I'm a little sedentary that day, whatever it is. And then I begin to careen down. And then by the end of the day, I don't have the same willpower or the same drive that I did when I first woke up.
I think that resonates with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Now, it might not be at the exact same times that you feel it, but a lot of people have, hey, at this time, I could take on the world. At this time, you could talk me into heroin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you know what a lot of that comes from? Not everybody, but mine as well.
The poppy plant.
Is... Oh, you were talking about heroin. Yeah, gotcha.
I think Dad has some.
Who would you rather do heroin with, Mom or Dad?
It would kill both of them, so we can all do it together. I don't fucking care at this point. Just put me out of my misery.
Forget the Kool-Aid. We're doing heroin, baby.
That's Miles Davis. This is incredible. When did you start playing the trumpet?
And something that was very insightful for me to learn is think back towards your childhood. What was the most stressful part of your day?
That's very interesting. Stressful part?
Yeah.
Man, I just with my, sociopathic tendencies when I was a kid, I didn't have any stressful parts. I was living in narcissism world.
Okay, well, let's deconstruct that.
When I was a cheater, I don't know if that's too far forward. When I was a cheater, that was very stressful, and I thought of myself as a kid.
No, I appreciate you bringing that up, but I'm talking about when we were children, and for us, what was very difficult for us was at the end of the day. Mom and Dad were having struggles. They didn't even realize it at the time, and the house was filled with stress at the very end of the day. So our brains are programmed to, when it gets to that point of the day, it is expecting those same feelings.
It's interesting.
And that carries with us into adulthood.
A thought pattern, as it were.
Exactly.
Well, you and I had very different childhoods because you grew up much later. Well, not much later, but later than I did.
Very much later. A different lifetime later.
Come over here, sonny. I did not have that same thought process as a kid. I grew up with the quote unquote perfect family, which is probably how I got so fucked up on my side.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna do heroin with Dad.
Exactly. And we have a different careening periods throughout our day.
For sure.
So that's how it works.
Super interesting, Tyler.
Yeah.
I always like talking to you about this stuff because you have different experiences. You were the first one to alert me to. We had very
problematic childhood.
Very I didn't believe you at the beginning. I'm like, what are you talking about? We had it the best.
No, we did not.
Which is, that thought process is what made it so rough. Kind of,
and that's exactly right. You think you have it the best, and then you learn later in life that, because you normalize, you rationalize, and if you're young enough, you don't have the context or the logic to understand, oh, this is fucked up, And And on a personal note, I will say our parents did what they thought was the absolute best, and they fucked up along the way.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
That's going to happen.
The therapy bill's on the way.
So I am, I'm doing as I said, the tug of war back and forth, but I'm trying to make the right decisions in one direction, and it's a struggle, but that's, everybody has a challenge in life. This one's mine.
If there is...
And the whole being gay thing.
If you could knock that off,
it
would help me out a lot. If there's anything that I could do to tug you back in the right direction, just let me know.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Forwards, backwards, side to side.
You're like the Willy Wonka elevator. You go in all directions.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll give you the old chocolate rain.
So this week, because of the tug of war, I will say I am at a very neutral 5.
All right, baby.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We support you, Tyler, and that's very interesting insight. I had never really considered that.
Thank you. I appreciate that, buddy. Well, let's go ahead and jump right into our oof for the week, Ryan. Our oof. Did you know that Russia is having their elections?
What is an oof?
Oh, an oof is just when somebody acts in a certain way, or in this case, a country acts in a certain way that is, dare I say, embarrassing, shameful, something along the lines.
Not a full douche of the week.
Not a full douche of the week, although I probably should.
I like that there's a scale of like how bad you fucked up.
Yeah.
All right, so you're talking about the USSR.
Close enough, kind of. Yeah, exactly.
Russia just had their elections.
The presidential elections. Have you seen some of the videos coming out of? No,
I don't watch videos. No.
There are. You don't watch videos? That was a pretty blanket statement.
100%.
Gotcha.
I listen to audiobook porn.
Well, there was a. You know what? Not gonna do it. Not
I'll get you. I'll get you.
There is a video, many videos, but there is a video of one person. They're behind the curtain and they're filling out their card, I guess it is.
Are you allowed to tape people behind the curtain? Doesn't that defeat the purpose of the curtain?
No. There's a camera in the room, and you can see the curtains in front of you.
Okay.
And a soldier just walks in and just swipes one of the curtains and just looks over their shoulder and just stares them down and goes and says something along the lines of, "I'm assuming, just checking, making sure everything's okay."
Now,
and just walks out.
I do know for a fact that you need to use a number 2 pencil for these things to compute. Are we sure that this guy, is there a number 1 pencil? Have you ever seen a...
Yes, there is a number 1 pencil.
I did not expect this to end like
that.
Okay, so yes, that seems like... their freedoms over there are really in question.
It's a bit of a problem.
It's a murky area.
We have our struggles over here, no question about it. We are not perfect. But damn, are they dealing with some shit. And so a lot of people have resorted to protesting in their own way, like going in and setting election devices on fire in the middle of the room. Yeah.
Now, and we complain so much about this country, and we have rights too, of course, luckily. I just had like a recovered memory that I think I had a dream last night about Trump winning the presidency, as you were saying that.
Yeah. Happy memories.
We are... We are very lucky to have the problems that we have right now, because the idea of living in North Korea, the idea of living in Haiti right now, it is we definitely don't have it perfect, but damn, we're in a good situation. We haven't gotten there yet.
But let's also acknowledge that it could happen here. We are not above those kind of outcomes.
I don't know if you heard that yet there at the end.
Yeah. Yet's doing a lot of work.
There are routes that lead us down some of these paths.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Privatized armies and whatnot.
Looking at you, Soviet, Russia,
USSR.
So who, wouldn't you know it, Putin won 88% of the votes. 88%. I mean, God, Russians love this guy.
That's a landslide, man. He fought that vote like he fought that bear victoriously.
Oh, man. Do you see him with his shirt off? That's a man.
He is a man.
That's a man.
He's built like a brick shithouse.
He's also tiny. He's a very short individual.
A leverage point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to get low.
That's true. Like Aaron Donald, a shorter defensive tackle in the NFL, but powerful.
If you had to fist fight Putin or Kim Il-jong, that I've heard it said that way in other places. Sure. Who are you taking?
Kim Jong Un, I believe you mean.
Oh.
Well, Kim Jong Un is, how should I put this? Because I don't want to be delicate. A bit roly-poly.
Okay, so you nailed that.
I feel like I could tip him over pretty easily.
Your bedside manner is outstanding.
Thank you. And then, and they're both terrifying. They both would have me strung up by my toes and flogged.
With their armies.
Of course.
Put me in a room with Kim Jong Un, okay?
Oh, for sure.
Now, I know that he hit 7 holes in one on his first time playing.
18 holes in one.
Was it 18?
He hit hole in one on every single shot.
So
it was amazing.
So I wouldn't want to see him out on the greens.
No.
But
no.
In just a common situation of fisticuffs, I think I could go at it. Putin, I think, would be putting up a little bit of struggle.
Yeah, and he might cheat and bring that bear to back him up.
If he rides in the bear, I'm out.
Wouldn't be fair. Okay. So Russia, because we didn't see this coming. I mean, who knew? The elections, I'm going to have to just give you,
Now, who would you rather do drugs with, Putin or Kim Jong Un?
Kim Jong Un for sure.
Yeah,
without a doubt, simply because he is a goofy motherfucker. Like if you see him, Putin is all business.
Yeah,
he is all business. He's
business in the front, business in the back.
That's right. That's right. He is two businesses that have been fused together at the ass.
He's a conglomerate,
and he is stoic. He is serious.
Yeah, he is.
I don't think I would want to do drugs with that. But Kim Jong Un, I think we'd be laughing. We'd be goofing it up.
You know what? I want to be on record as saying I would eat MDMA with Putin.
Really?
I really would.
You'd soften him up a little bit and be like,
soften him up, and then yeah.
What has war ever solved, man?
Baby, come on, man. What? Come here. First of all, your neck looks a little tight.
Yeah, let me rub that hair island you got.
I'm a yoga teacher, by the way. Your neck look a little tight.
So Ryan,
are we still doing the show?
I think so.
I am rock hard.
I am confused.
Yeah. Yep.
Ryan, so for this segment, for this show, we usually do like a GBI every other episode, and we get into headlines, and I tell you the headline, and then you react to it, and we goof it up.
We do a thing. Yep.
Do a whole thing. For this show, I actually wanted to have 3 in-depth conversations to pick your brain, and I wanted your opinion on these things. And they range from the truly terrible to the wacky. Ryan, it is time to have a conversation.
I was going to tell you I really like that bed, and you pulled the covers off of me.
This is our new segment, Let's Have a Conversation. And thank you, got to give credit where credit is due, Alex Productions for that awesome music. Now, conversation number 1, Ryan. Okay. Are you ready? You and I are incredibly close with our family. The Menendez clan is tight-knit group, wouldn't you say?
I absolutely would. Most people are, I don't want to say envious, but they want to be part of our clique. We're very loving.
I didn't know growing up that it was such an uncommon thing. When we tell people that we get together every week for dinner and we're all best friends, a lot of reactions I get are, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, even when I talk about this podcast, you know how many people are like, man, I wish my brother and I, liked each other. That hurts me.
That does hurt me too.
You know, maybe they don't say it like that, but it's like, man, I haven't talked to my brother in years or whatever, and it's just that's a bummer.
Yeah, that stinks. Well, with our first conversation, I'm going to ask you, how close is too close? Now, let's discuss Brazil's Andressa Urach.
Okay.
Successful OnlyFans, 3 million subscribers on Instagram.
This is a man or a woman?
It's a woman.
Okay.
Andressa, that's a female name.
Okay.
3 million subscribers on Instagram and runner-up in the Miss Bum Bum contest in 2012.
Which contest is
that?
The
Miss Bum Bum contest.
I will tell you from some of my research that I've done, Brazilians known for their bum bums.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And they have a contest every year, and to see who has the nicest, gonna pass right by that, who has the nicest butt in all of Brazil. And she came runner-up in 2012.
Brazil is a huge country.
Huge. Now, part of making a profit is knowing where to spend and where to save. We're business experts. You obviously know that.
Absolutely.
Of course.
I'm like the Tim Kramer of podcasting. Or Jim Kramer.
Jim Kramer.
That's the guy.
There you go. Now, how would you cut costs? How would you save and make as much money as possible running an OnlyFans? What would your first move as executive producer be?
Well, I've never had an OnlyFans, but I guess the team of people, because when I think of an OnlyFans, I think of just you and a camera. Am I right?
That is perfectly safe. Man, you went exactly where I wanted you to.
That?
I led you into the trap.
Okay.
I just pulled the lever and the box fell and now you're trapped underneath.
Okay.
It.
This is Rube Goldbergian, but that's fine.
Her son records everything for her.
That's a little bit too close. That's a little bit too close. How old is her son?
18 years old.
legal. I don't.
Well, and the OnlyFans has been around for a bit.
I don't know what the age of consent is in Brazil.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. But we're not looking at the age of consent. I just want your opinion on the situation. So, by his own admission, he'll even coach her through it, giving her advice on how to perform best for the camera.
I wish I had less details, but okay, that's fine.
How can you make an informed decision?
I, in my personal take, and in good on them, and the fact that they can, there's always been that thing in general American nomenclature and even pornography, where like the idea of getting twin sisters is a thing. They reference it in Austin Powers, which is my barometer for culture. Of
course.
And for me, that always gave me a bit of a pause.
The twin sisters.
The twins, sure. The twin sisters. I don't know how that works, you know?
Yeah. I mean, neither do I.
Sure.
Neither do I. Yeah, there's something, deep down in our DNA, the majority of us, where something tells us that is not working.
It's like animals. Like there's something that just tells you deep in your DNA, hopefully, this is not for romance. My brother, not for romance. There are things.
You ever seen a horse? Majestic, sexy, strong.
Right?
No, that was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate them. I appreciate them being close, but for me, that's a little bit too close.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I very much am a person who, and I say it again and again and again, as long as you're not hurting anybody, I very much am a live and let live. Just because I find something awkward or uncomfortable or whatever it is, if you're not hurting anybody, if everything that's happening between you and the other person is consensual, who am I to make a decision for your life regardless of my opinion on it?
Agreed. It does make me think of how judgmental you were on the Island Boys, but that's neither here nor there.
Agreed, but I'm also not the Island Boys. They were rappers, and then they got onto
TikTok
their
stars?
OnlyFans. I guess so, TikTok stars. Then got on OnlyFans, and then started making out with each other and stuff. Brothers, they're brothers.
And I suggested that we at least try it, but you're closed-minded and small.
Yeah. Okay, passing by every joke I was about to make because I feel like it would have gone just a little bit too far. I think that it's a live and let live thing, but even with the Island Boys,
agree.
I think it's very strange. I don't agree with it, but that doesn't mean that I should have a say in how they live their lives.
Do I think that these people should stop? Absolutely not. If this works for you, I say good on you. It's all legal, but also I don't even want to say that I'm judging it, but I don't think that it's good for your relationship.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that's the first conversation down. You heard it. You heard it here first, folks. Ryan's okay with incest. Ooh, boy, that was a weird thing for you to say out loud.
This was like
but
pick a side, but ostensibly now looking back on what I said, I think you're right there.
Yeah, good. You're learning more about yourself. Sure. Good on you, buddy.
I wish I didn't.
Now, Ryan, your first Ryan's Vault of Sound. You got a little an audio for me? Is it a video? What is it? Tell the audience what it is.
It's called Ryan's Vault of Sound, so it'd be weird if it was a video. It's where I hear something throughout the week.
Videos have sound.
I want to bring it to you via audio on a segment called Ryan's Vault of Sound.
Okay.
Ryan's Vault of Sound.
Tyler, do you like a remix?
Yeah.
What is a remix? Right. I know everybody knows, but we're just trying to be inclusive here. What's a remix?
So when somebody makes a song and then another artist grabs that song and then remixes it to make it sound different but close enough to the original.
Right. Now, I love a remix. Often I will, especially I'm into electronic music, so often I will find a remix that I like more than the original. But my question to you is, are there any songs where it is out of bounds? Like this is such a memorable song. This means so much that let's just do it the normal way. No stops. This is it.
I would say Toto by Africa. Doesn't need to be touched. It's a perfect song.
And it's playing in that desert from now until the end of time. So, Tyler, I'm on. I'm going to ask you this, though.
Bet you that is pissing the animals off.
About this other song that was sung at an Indiana Pacers game by an 8-year-old whose name I forgot to write down.
Okay.
Yoga teacher training, man. Crazy this week.
That's fine. That's fine. He's underage, so it's probably best not to name him.
It's a her, and I'm wondering what you think about this remix.
Send bright stars round on barrel us by.
Ooh. fake cheer.
Hold on.
Love bombs bursting in.
Oh boy. Well, hey, she's giving it her all.
I swear to you,
She's giving it her all.
I like it. You think that I'm making fun of this little girl, and I understand why. I
Send bright stars.
really like it.
Okay.
I like that they let her go out there and do it.
I like that.
her whole vibe.
Uh-huh.
I thought the whole thing was really, I don't know.
Well, and I don't mean to be demeaning in any way. For an 8-year-old, she crushed it. She obviously has potential vocally. She has a very strong voice. She has range. There are like that.
Sure.
There are a few points there where it gets away from her a little bit.
It gets away from her.
Which she's 8. That's allowed to happen.
And it's the reason why I brought it on. It's a little unorthodox. It's a bit of a remix. You think I'm doing a gag?
No.
I love it.
No.
All right.
Good on her for getting out there and trying.
And getting it.
Getting it.
And if you see the video, she's 8 years old. She's wearing an American flag dress. She's got all these star-like clips in her hair. Super cute.
Nice.
I applaud it.
Well, good on her for trying it out.
No gag. For real, for real. That's it.
For real.
Right.
No, I was focused on your for real.
Ryan's Vault of Sound number 1. Cutie.
A very troubling documentary on Netflix. Ryan, conversation number 2.
Let's go.
Trigger warning, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. So please forgive me.
Okay.
Have you heard of the documentary that just came out, Quiet on Set, excuse me?
Is that about Christian Bale?
Oh!
That's a joke for us, Tyler.
Singer, baby!
That's a joke for us.
Because he yelled at a guy one time a little bit too far. What was that?
That's what he does to the guy.
Oh, gotcha.
Sorry.
Gotcha.
I thought you knew it well, so
yeah.
forgive me.
It is an investigation discovery, which is a TV channel here in the States.
Love ID.
The ID channel. They're running a 4-part documentary, which episodes 1 and 2 have already aired. And Dan Schneider, do you know the name Dan Schneider?
From the Washington football team.
No.
That's Dan Snyder.
That's Dan Snyder.
No,
Dan
no.
Schneider worked for Nickelodeon for 20 years. Oh, have you heard about this?
Yes, he was on all that.
Yeah.
He
was the executive, the creator of some of its most popular shows, like The Amanda Show, Drake and Josh, iCarly, and Zoe 101.
Heavyset gentleman. Brunette. I know exactly who you're talking about.
That is correct. Now, have you heard about this documentary?
I have not heard about the documentary, but I am very familiar with I assume what you're referencing.
Yes. Well, apparently, it was a hellscape under him.
Yeah.
Filled with misogyny, sexual assault, and pedophilia, Ryan.
And pedophilia. Well, he was really into the feet.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Now, let's get into some of the issues that they were having.
This is very interesting to me.
And it sucks because
it does suck.
Because this is
part of my childhood.
This is right after I stopped watching Nickelodeon. I didn't get into Zoe 101 or Drake and Josh.
Me neither, but I knew this guy from even before that.
Yep.
I'm familiar with this guy, not from those shows, but I'm just familiar with him.
And he was a superstar at Nickelodeon. He held so much power. And I was very much into all that, which was like SNL for kids.
Loved all that.
It was excellent.
That's where Kenan Thompson got his start, who then ended up on SNL, an adult sketch show.
That's right.
Sure.
That's right. Well, you have Jason Handy, which, I mean, come on, man.
Come on, brother. This is a foot place.
Jason Handy, production assistant on the show All That in the early 2000s. Gregarious, likable, pedophile.
Him too?
He was the pedophile.
I thought Dan.
No. Dan Schneider. There was no accusation against him of sexually assaulting children, but we'll get into him in a second.
Okay, forgive me.
Yeah.
Then I'm confused. Then maybe I'm talking about the wrong person.
Well, this is no. You nailed him. That is who Dan Schneider is.
Okay.
But this is a person who, much like Ellen DeGeneres, where I think so much of somebody's character can be evaluated by the people that they keep around them.
They're creating an environment of vile behavior.
And you get the people around you that are going to okay your vile behavior.
Well, you get kind of drawn together. I mean, that's true with just people and personalities.
Yes.
You're drawn to people who are into the same things as you.
That's right. It's like when you go to a foreign country, you're drawn to the people who look and sound just like you.
Sure.
It is in our nature as humans.
Tyler, meet me in American Town.
That sounds amazing.
Is there an American town?
We can review. I have no
can review.
idea. Hot dogs and hamburgers, fireworks, and apple pie.
I think hamburgers were made in Germany, but nonetheless.
Whatever. They're ours now.
That's right.
Well, he sent a naked image of himself to one of the actresses, 11 years old at the time, with the caption, "I wanted you to know that I was thinking about you."
You know what, Tyler? I'm going to get out on a limb here and say, that's inappropriate.
Not okay.
Where are these people's parents at this point in time?
Well, she showed it to her parents, and
Good
this
on
is
ya.
Agreed.
Good on you.
And this is where it becomes challenging to evaluate, because the mom decided not to tell anybody.
This is the problem with stage moms and stage dads. Not all of them, but this is like the thing with Michael Jackson, where they knew they're like, my kid is sleeping 5 rooms away in a room with a grown-ass man, but I don't want to rock the money boat here.
Yeah, exactly. And we're getting gifts and we have all this kind of stuff. But the daughter, as you can imagine, quit acting almost immediately after that happened.
That's very unprofessional. I'm just kidding. That's just a joke. Also, at this point in time, with all of the history that's now being unveiled to us, this is kind of how acting went. You're like, listen, we'll let you in. We'll pay you the big money. But I'm going to bleep your kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
and people were just kind of saying yes.
Yeah. Well, he was, Mr. Handy, was arrested. I know. Come on. Arrested in 2003 with over 10,000 images and videos of children in erotic poses and engaged in sexually explicit conduct.
That's too many.
10,000!
That's too many.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. And you're in this unchecked stratosphere, not unlike Jared, the $5 footlong king.
And I feel like there's this feeling of I'm untouchable. What are they going to do? I can do whatever I want.
You're living in this place where there are no repercussions until there are.
Yeah, exactly. And they even, when they arrested him, they obviously went through his home. They searched his stuff, all this thing. They found his personal diary where in it he literally wrote, "I am a pedophile, comma, full blown." Like, just wrote it out.
He really wrote that.
Oh, yeah. He acknowledged it.
I do appreciate him saving everybody a little bit of time. You know what I mean? Hey, guys, investigation's off. We got it.
I found it.
We got it. Somebody search his ball pen.
Oh.
Sorry.
Well, you also have Jenny Kilgan and Christy Stratton, the only 2 women writers on The Amanda Show. Dan would, from time to time, show them porn on his computer while simultaneously asking for a massage. And he did that, I don't want to say constantly, but on a common enough occasion.
I don't know if you should do those 2 things separately.
No.
I am going to get... Yeah, I had a boss once that showed me porn.
Oh, you told me about that.
Yeah.
It was a guy, wasn't it?
I blocked it out. Yeah.
That was a guy, right?
Yeah, the guy from... well, I won't say where it's from.
Yeah.
From...
Oh, okay.
But he brought me back to his house for some reason, gave me red wine, and then showed me porn.
You never explained all of that.
I don't want to.
Wow.
I want to keep it hidden.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, good thing you're not telling anyone.
Sure.
I'll keep this right here, buddy.
Thank you so much.
You got
Tyler, circle of trust. You guys too. Yeah. Don't do that, everyone.
Yep. Now, as Miss Stratton pitched an idea once, Schneider stopped her mid-thought and said, quote, "You know it'd be funny? If you leaned over the table and acted like you were being sodomized and told that story about high school." Obviously, they're talking about high school because they're making a show for high schoolers.
Okay, it's a bit problematic, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bad. And the problem is that there are, in these situations where people have power, not only does it corrupt, but there's no one there to enforce any sort of justice.
Nothing.
There is, and if you don't like it, then get out of here and we'll fill your spot with somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what sucks. And people can feel so powerless in these situations because so very often, as we've seen time and time and time again, you tell people in power, you tell people who are in charge, and they're not interested in solving the problem in terms of getting justice for the issues at hand. It's simply about making the problem go away before it becomes a bigger problem. And what's easier to do? Get rid of the person who has been there for 20 years and holds all the power, or get rid of you, the person who is victimized, but doesn't hold any power whatsoever.
Exactly. This is kind of like, what's his name from WWE?
Oh, Vince McMahon.
Vince McMahon.
That's right.
You're just seeing at the top of some of these structures, just rot from people being kept in line, from people having consequences. I think that's the human condition.
Yeah. Well, it's so very rare when you give somebody power and they don't use it to the fullest extent that it can be.
Agreed.
And the biggest problem is throughout the episodes, or one of the biggest problems is throughout the episodes of a lot of these shows, Dan wrote into the scripts, as you alluded to have these young women, children, put their feet up to the camera in a kind of a sexual way.
Well, I never would have thought of it as in a sexual way at that time.
I mean, we know it now.
We know it now.
It's
we know if I had seen that on Nickelodeon, I wouldn't have thought twice about it.
Yeah.
But now knowing what we know, knowing about Quentin Tarantino and knowing about Rex Ryan and knowing about all of these different things, the foot, highly sexualized.
They're highly sexualized.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's one of the most common sexualizations in the world.
No judgment. Not my jam, baby.
Yeah, me
Not
either.
my jam.
Me either.
Yep.
Yeah. And you took the words right out of my mouth. It's basically what Tarantino does, except this is with children. At least Tarantino uses adults who can, consent. At least I hope they can.
When you go back, I find that part to be very interesting. When you see the screenshots of what this guy has done and you then mix it in with the information that you have, that's, while being terrible and awful, very interesting to me.
Sure. Oh, yeah. It can be interesting and terrible at the same time. Mm-hmm. Well, Ryan, off of that,
Don't
disturbing.
do Don't do that.
PSA for your ASS, everything we just talked about.
Don't do that. Yeah.
No.
Yep.
Let's take a break.